Hello, everybody. Welcome to Know Your Money. I'm Bronwyn Weiner.
And I'm Craig Finch, and we are from Growth Financial Planning. We hope you enjoy our podcast.
Hi, Bron. I see we've got the book on the table again.
We do.
One of our favorite books by Morgan Housel. Amongst the same other 6 million people around the world who also enjoyed this book, but yeah, we really enjoy it. And when you pick it up again, some insightful programs and thoughts and ways to invest money or look at money and have a relationship with money. So now we're looking at chapter 6, I think it is, which is heads and tails, or tails and heads.
Tails and the win, I think. Let's just have a look quick. Tails you win.
Tails you win.
Yes.
Interesting concept.
Really interesting concept. And I think the essence of that chapter to me is you've got to have the losses with the wins, because it's teaching you that you can't give up and you can't pull out when there's a loss. Like in the chapter, it talks about Disney, Walt Disney, and how many animations they did before they actually did well. I'm not sure on the specific number, but it was a lot. And then Snow White was the one that put them on the map and made them win. So they had to go with all the losses until that good one came along. And I think it's the same with investing, don't you think?
Yeah, and that was a credible story, because in 1938 the film made $8 million, which was a credible amount of money, and paid back all their debts and got them back on the map. Because that was, can you imagine how many months Walt Disney and his team must have thought it was a failure? They're never going to come right. So it's like winter, I suppose. You've got to go through a winter to have a beautiful summer. And while winter's happening, you don't think it's ever going to be a summer. And that's the same with investing. You look at what's happened since 1900, how often the stock market has dipped and done badly, and people have lost money. But people who stay the whole course make the most money. And you just got to be patient through, as you say, when the things are bad.
Yeah.
So there's things in that book of since 1900 right up until 2000 and I can't remember the date, 6 is like 1,400 months of investing. I think you've got the numbers there.
I do. And it's just about that, I think. And as a financial planner, I think often we manage conversations where the markets are down. You know, the month before someone got the year before someone got a 17 or a 20% return, and then the next year it's not that good, and then they want to adjust and make changes. And it's about riding the wave. And what we've always said is being intentional about what the timeline is for that money, because that's how long the journey is, or the wave. So just to your point with those numbers, it was if a person invested $1 every month, so the amount we've used that in rands is 16 rand. So if someone invested 16 rand a month from 1990 to 2019, what would they have? So in the book, he talks about investor Sue, and Sue invests that 16 rand every single month religiously, not missing a month. By the end of it, she would have 6.9 million rand. Okay. Then Morgan talks about Jim, who invests as well, that 16 rand a month, but he doesn't do it during recession. So when it's recession, he sells it and he puts that money into cash. And as soon as the recession's ends, he takes that cash, he puts it back in, and he starts that. So he continues the 16 a month, but sometimes in cash. For him, instead of the 6.9 million that Sue had, he would have 4.1 million. So more than 2 million rand difference. And then the last investor is Tom. Tom does basically what Jim does. So when there's a recession, he doesn't invest it in the market. He invests it in his bank account. But he takes a little bit longer to put the money back because he's worried about this recession. And for him, he gets 3.7 million. So I think the essence of what Morgan is trying to say in this chapter is you've got to ride the waves. If you pull out too soon, you're going to miss it. And in his book, there's a quote by Napoleon, and it says, "The man who can do the average thing when all those around him are going crazy."
Yeah.
And that's what we try and encourage our clients to do. Just ride it, right?
Correct. And I think the numbers were 1,900
Yeah.
until 2019, which was 1,428 months. And of those 1,428 months, 22% of them were bad.
Sure.
So it's quite a lot, almost a quarter were bad. But if you rode that bad cycle, that's the kind of numbers you would have got.
Yeah. And I mean, what is your one thing that you try and encourage clients when they do say, okay, it's bad now and I want to get out? How do you...
Well, you don't.
But how do you tell them?
No, it's difficult because people look at their statements quarterly and they've gone down and then they want to get out. You just try and... Or just look at the bigger picture. As you say, the timing and how long you need the money is important. And if you've allocated that money correctly, you won't really worry about it. And don't look.
Yeah.
Just don't look.
And that's also, I think, one of the biggest things. And I think the tip for our audience is ride the wave, but also be intentional of what that money is for. Because if you are putting the money that you need for an emergency in something that's up and down, you can't not look because maybe you need it next month.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we are so intentional about saying, what are you keeping? What are you saving? What are you growing? And the growing, you don't look.
Exactly.
You know, the keeping you can look at, but you'd put that in the bank account because you're going to need that closer to time.
Good.
Anything else from that chapter?
Good chapter. Good learnings.
Yeah, hope that helps. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this podcast, would like to subscribe, please visit our website, www.growthfp.co.za. The information we have provided in this podcast is our personal opinion. For more detailed information, please discuss your financial situation with a financial planner.